there is a rich history between the Wilsons, Dennis Rainey, Bob Lapine, and the ministry of Family Life. So how did God all kind of mesh that together?
That is a good question because we still don't know. But we actually, 2 weeks before our wedding, went to the Family Life Weekend to Remember.
Wow.
As an engaged couple in Chicago, downtown Chicago in a ballroom. That was our first exposure to Family Life. We didn't even know what Family Life was. Got married about 10 years later. They called and said, would you consider speaking for that conference? We've been doing that 32 plus years, and out of nowhere, I've pastored a church in the Detroit area for 30 years. And about 5 years ago, Bob Lapine and, 4 years ago, David Robbins, the new president of Family Life, called and said, what do you think about taking the place of Dennis Rainey on the radio with Family Life Today? Trust me, that came out of nowhere. We had no idea that call was coming, and it's been an incredible blessing.
So you weren't just listening to the program through the years and just said, "Boy, I'd really like to do that." Dave, I think we'd really do a great job hosting the show.
Bob, I don't think
that's not the answer.
No, I think that we thought we could never live up to Dennis Rainey and Bob Lapine. They're amazing, but we have always had this passion and a heart for marriage and family. We've been really close with Dennis and Barbara and Bob, and so when they called us, we were incredibly humbled. The very first program that we did, we got on our knees in the studio and said, God, we have no right to be here. If you're going to do this, you have to do it through us. And so those guys are big shoes to fill, and we love them. And so it's been a real faith journey and exciting for us, too. And, Bob, it's just really good to be with you live. Isn't it fun? I like that we're together.
Face-to-face, and to actually, I guess, officially welcome you to the Faith Radio family on Family Life today. So, yeah, this is wonderful.
It's fun.
So when you talk about filling Dennis Rainey's shoes, probably I have a hunch that may not have been in the job description, because it seems to me that so often perhaps we try to be someone other than God calls us to be. So I would just have a hunch that the folks at Family Life wanted you all to come on and be you and offer the advice and the insight that you had gained. That's just just kind of my outside observation.
That's really good insight, though, for you, because don't we think that as people? We think, oh, if I could only be like so-and-so, God could use me. And God's saying, no, I made you so unique. I made you an individual with gifts and talents. I want you to be you. And so sometimes I think we have to fight that of comparing ourselves to others.
Dave and Ann Wilson joining us today from Family Life Today here at NRB, the National Religious Broadcasters Convention 2022 in Nashville. So, Dave, as you look at the two of your association with Family Life throughout the years, this is something that you went to the weekend to remember a couple of weeks before you and Ann got married. Yep. So you have a long track record. From your experience with Family Life, not only as a speaker, but also benefiting from the teaching, the nurturing of Family Life, and now hosting the radio program, how would you describe the dynamics of this ministry?
I mean, in one sense, what we were told before going as an engaged couple to the Weekend to Remember is still true today. We were told you're going to hear, and it was for the first time for us, God's biblical game plan for marriage. And honestly, we had no idea. God even had a plan. So we go to the Weekend Remember, sat there again as an engaged couple, and it was the first time we ever walked through the book of Genesis, into the New Testament, and said, okay, what was God's dream? What was God's design for marriage? And again, sitting there as an engaged couple, we thought it'll be easy. We love Jesus. We're going into ministry. How hard can it be? We hardly took notes because we thought, all these other couples are taking notes. They must struggle. We're not going to struggle because we love Jesus. And then we got married, and we experienced what every marriage experiences, real hardship and isolation. And we had to pull that manual out, pull out the Word of God and say, okay, what is the truth here? How can it impact our own marriage? And we learned early on, God not only wants to do something in your marriage, he wants to do something through your marriage.